Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello there, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing. We're on our Cheltenham countdown series here. We're getting well through it at this stage, Killian. We probably only have maybe 4 or 5 videos left in it. Obviously no Monday Club today. Really, we decided there a couple of weeks ago that all our focus was going to be on Cheltenham, really. We'd focused on racing elsewhere all year, I think. I don't think we were too Cheltenham focused up until this point. But we've had a slight pivot, we'll say, Killian, and now we're focusing on Cheltenham. So today we are looking at both the RSA Chase and the National Hunt Chase. The RSA now, obviously the Brown Advisory is the correct term to be using, to be fair to the poor sponsors of that race, Killian. The RSA are still getting a bit of a twist out of it. But looking at the market there's probably not that much depth to it. I'd say, Killian, like we've got a very classy looking fact to file at the top of the market. Away Fay there is 10-3, a third in the Cotswold Chase against Open Company Chasers last time out, there towards the end of January. Montys Star, a lot of people latching on to him, but at the same time, has he really achieved that much? Would be a question that I'd have for you, Killian. And then below that, like it's lacking in depth, really. Like Gaelic Warrior, Nick Rocket isn't going, Giovinco, Embassy Gardens is probably going to the 4-miler, we know that. Broadway Boy, Salvador Ziggy is going to the 4-miler. It's maybe competitive at the top of the market, Killian, but you'd expect the winner probably to come from one of those first 3 I named out.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, it's hard. Like, fact to file is the right favorite, but he's very short.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do I want to back fact to file at odds on against a real battle hardened Away Fay? Montys Star, like at the start of the season when he was 50s, he was a great price. I wouldn't like to back him at just double the price Away Fay is, for any amount of money. Like, there's no way. I'd back him at 6-1 now, or he's even shorter, 11-2 and 9-2 in places. There's not a chance you'll be backing him over Away Fay.
No.
But like fact to file, he battered Gaelic Warrior. Like he when they went down the back in Leopardstown, like he's not a slow horse. I'm sure he'd win the Turners as well. And I'm surprised they're not running him in the Turners, to be honest. I think he'd hose up there. And this might be just a more difficult race, but he's definitely a stayer, and that shouldn't be a problem. But like Away Fay, I just wonder, is he like going into Open Company the last day? Like Capodanno, I know he's had a few issues, but he was a Grade 1 winner over 3 miles as a novice chaser in Punchestown. Obviously, the Real Whacker won the Brown Advisory last year, and like he gave Capodanno £3 and was off levels with the Real Whacker and was there like right at the finish of the race. And I'd imagine that he'll be very hard beat.
Yeah.
Sort of going back to like, and Presenting Percy ran in a Red Mills Chase as a novice before the RSA, and it's sort of similar to that. Like, he's gone up against a higher quality of horse than a novice chaser with limited experience, and he's ran a really good race even in defeat. So I'd say at the moment I'd be siding with at the prices anyway, Away Fay.
Would you? Yeah.
I think so.
Actually, that's fair enough. Like I can definitely see your point there and Away Fay. He's up against seasoned campaigners there in the Real Whacker and Capodanno. He's after getting £3 or given £3 to Capodanno too. Which makes it all the more impressive. And he is a fair price at that. Fact to file, obviously, huge talk about him this year and whatnot. But the form is a small bit iffy, maybe. I think he's improved a hell of a lot since his first run at Navan to Leopardstown there, where he's bet Zana here by 17 lengths. At the Dublin Racing Festival, you couldn't really read into that at all. Now, as impressive and all as he looked, it was a match between himself and Gaelic Warrior. who clearly, like, isn't that class of horse, going left-handed there, around Leopardstown anyway, and didn't perform to his best. So it's hard to read into that. I do really wish that American Mike had actually gone to this race. Bet fact to file at Navan, won again at Navan there on Boyne Hurdle Day a couple of weeks ago. And I think it's a mistake by Connections really that he's not entered here. They entered him both the Arkle and the Turners. And I'd really have loved to see him turning up here. Horses who go well at Navan usually go well at Cheltenham is the sort of old adage as such. Similar track, stiff finish. And I do think that's a pity. But like at the prices, hard to disagree with you too much on Stay Away Fay. At 10-3 versus Fact to File odds on. Depending on how Willie goes the first day on the Tuesday, that'll probably dictate how short Fact to File goes or how much he drifts. But certainly looking at the prices there now, you'd nearly take a chance on Stay Away Fay, the assured stamina, the course form last time out, obviously won at the festival then last year as well. So yeah, look, I'd probably be in agreement with you there, Cillian.
Yeah, I think, well, like, I tried to guess what price I'd stop Stay Away Fay on, and to be honest, like, I really like Fact to File, but I just can't get away from the last run against Capadano. Like, Capadano's finished on top of Jerry Colombe in the Savills of Christmas in Leopardstown as well. And like he's one of the favourites for the Gold Cup. So like Stay Away Fay has gone out and done it against Capadano in the Real Whacker, and he's still not the favourite for the race. But yeah, for all Fact to File could be a superstar horse, I'd say Stay Away Fay is the right pick anyway, and I'd go down as far as 2-1 maybe. Like I don't see Stay Away Fay going off shorter than 5-2 anyway. So because Fact to
Yeah,
File will be a shade of odds on, I'd imagine. No matter how Willie is doing, it's going to, because Nichols is going to probably have no runner on Tuesday. So no one will know what the Nichols form is, and it's the case then of whether you're in one of them camps or not. Like Montys Star, I'd say he's going to be, he's definitely a graded horse over fences. Whether he's a grade 1 horse or not now is another thing. But yeah, if you were on him at fancy prices, you'd definitely be hoping he's in the 3 anyway. Because there's probably only going to be 6 or 7 runners.
yeah. No, that's very fair, Cillian. We're on a similar page there with that, for sure. We'll move on to the 4-miler there if you're happy enough.
Yeah.
So top of the market, Embassy Gardens, at 2-1, 2 from 2 over fences, has looked very good this year. But Sender Clegane, who's probably flattered to deceive a small bit by 10 lengths at Naas last time out, looks an out and out stayer. And it's definitely the right horse at the top of the market. Corbetts Cross is one that people probably would have expected to do a small bit better this year. Fell last time out. I almost sure that'll put you off, because I know you hate backing a horse at Cheltenham off the back of a fall. Salvador Ziggy then, I suppose the pick of his form is there at Listowel back in September, in the Kerry National, where he was second to Desert Moor House. Ran again in October and hasn't been seen since. So Gordon likes doing that really with some of his horses. He's done it with Chupu, and he did it with, what's the name of the horse he did it with here, Cillian, last year?
Galvin a couple of years ago.
Yeah, did he do one last year? He did.
Can't
think, no.
Chemical Energy.
Yes. He ran Chemical Energy possibly in November at one of those Cheltenham meetings anyway, early in the year.
Yeah, it could even have been the October one.
I think it was the October, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then didn't run him again since. So he's taken the same route there. Gordon has a great record in this race, so you'd have to respect that. Flooring Porter, then, Gavin Cromwell is keeping the cards close to his chest there, really. You'd like to think that he's made a decision himself in his own mind whether he's going to send a horse over fences or over hurdles at the Cheltenham Festival, but he's 8-1, and may be interesting if he showed up. And then you're looking at the likes of 3 Card Bragg a bit further down, and Manila Cocooner. If you put a line through his last run at 16-1, you know, and 12-1 in other places, he's probably a fair price too.
Yeah, it's probably a competitive enough race, really. If you
Yeah,
didn't
more
like
depth than the RSA for sure.
depth to what, like there's none of them horses it win the RSA, like, whereas
Oh
any
yeah,
of the top
well,
three in
I didn't say quality. I said
oh
depth in
yeah,
terms of
but like
competitiveness.
but depth is only as good as the quality anyway. Like, oh grand, we've got
Yeah, well,
6 horses that are the same level, like, but there's 3 very good horses going to be in the RSA at least.
yeah. Well, the RSA is a grade one. Is a grade one. You know,
Yeah.
you'd fully expect to have more quality there, but I do think it's disappointing that there's not, you know, there's no real nice each way options really. I don't think in the RSA, whereas here you're going to have 6, 7 horses. And you know, people will be fancying, you know, 6 or 7 horses in the field, and there will be horses there at an each way price if that's the way people like to play things.
Yeah, well, it's a
You
race
know,
that shouldn't exist anyway. Like these, like
you think?
Embassy Gardens, Corbetts Cross, should both be in the RSA.
Yeah,
Really. And
yeah,
there's probably 1 or 2 more that should be entitled to go there or go to a handicap. Like,
yeah.
so I don't know. I think they should be in the
Really, by
RSA.
shortening the distance of it, they've probably made it more appealing to some of them horses. You know, there's probably a better class of horse going there now than there was before,
Yeah,
when it was
perhaps.
actually a
But
4 miler.
yeah, it's just still it's fucking it just shouldn't be there. Like there's no need for it. And I'd be saying like Embassy Gardens
Would
is
you say there's no need
definitely
for when it's the 4 miler?
they weren't they weren't going that time. Like well, I suppose
That's why these horses are going really. I don't know if
Galvin was there when it was a 4 miler, though, wasn't it?
was that not the first year? I'm
Maybe it
not sure.
was.
I'd
Galvin
say,
grade one winner in open company, like after the
yeah,
fact, after that he went there. But like Native River and Manila Rocco were 1-2 home when it was the 4 miler. Native River won a Gold Cup.
yeah,
So
fair, yeah,
like they could easily have been good enough to like
yeah,
Embassy
fair, yeah,
Gardens is well capable of running or saying so is Corbetts Cross, and I'd imagine 1 or 2 more probably could as well. But that's beside the point. Um I'd say Embassy Gardens would be a hard beat. Yeah, I don't want to back Corbetts Cross anymore. If he didn't run there, I'd have been happy enough on him. But yeah, even though it was a harmless fall, like it didn't, he didn't take a whack or anything. But still, yeah, I don't want to back him off the back of that. Salvador Ziggy, I'm sure it'll be thereabouts as well. He's especially on nicer ground. If he gets that, he'll be a player. Nick Rocket won't be there. I think when you put up 3 Card Bragg, for the anti-post pick, I was in agreement with you. I thought it was that he'd be a lot shorter on the day, but that's not looking very likely now.
yeah.
But he still has
Those
a chance.
prices, yeah,
But
those prices that I quoted are the Racing Post website is fairly poor for that. If you were to knock it, he's actually 7-1 really everywhere. 3 Card
yeah,
Bragg 7 to
yeah.
1.
But he's one that, like, at the time you probably thought he'd be go off, like, if you put him
Yeah,
up at 10s, that he'd probably go off at 5s or 4s,
yeah,
but he probably won't now.
no,
Um,
yeah,
and then Florin Porter, yeah, I'd imagine he'd go to the stairs hurdle. I can't see him running here, to be honest.
yeah,
But again, if he does it, it makes the better race a bit more depth to it. And then Kilbeg King, he was second in the Reynoldstown in Ascot. He's running here, I think. So there is a few with chances, but I'd find it hard to go against Embassy Gardens, to be honest. Like, especially like at the end of the day, like Patrick is on it, and like, sure, I suppose he's the best jockey in the race and still at the end of the day. So, and
mm,
he's on the classiest horse. So I'd
yeah,
imagine he'll be very hard beat.
yeah, yeah. I think that. I think you've summed it up fairly there. What I would say on Florin Porter is that if he did go there, I'd be firmly against him for it. Just the way he travels and his keenness, and that usually they go around this race at a bit of a crawl, and I'd say it wouldn't suit him at all. You know, I could imagine him there being a total dickhead the whole way around, to be honest. And I wouldn't like to be on him. I do agree. Embassy Gardens, the classiest horse in the race, 2 for the
Who
two.
who'd ride Florin Porter in this?
Um,
Who's Gavin Cromwell's
question. Good question.
Vinny Maguire rides a good few bumper horses, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I imagine it'll be him.
Good chance of it.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone
I
else.
can't
that
think of
rides.
any horse that Kevin Cromwell has had in this race before.
Yeah, there's a good chance he hasn't had a runner in forward. I can't. I'd say there's only a 5% chance Florian Porter will be in the
reckon?
national hunt. Yes, yeah, I'd say it's as good as done now. To be honest, that he's going to be in the Stairs.
Okay.
Like he's a 2-time Stairs winner. He's entitled to go back there. He has no chance in the Stairs. But I'd say he has no chance in this either for the reasons you mentioned.
Yeah. And I would be interested now in either Salvador Ziggy or obviously have 3-card Bragg there already at a bigger price. But whichever one of them is deemed Gordon's number one, considering Gordon's record in the race, would interest me. The only downside I have about 3-card Bragg is his strike rate, really. He's had 8 runs under rules and he's only 2 wins, which is quite disappointing. 2 seconds this year to Corbetts Cross and to Montys Star, albeit that is quite solid form. But I just wonder, is he a small bit tricky to win with? Like earlier on last year, like they were running him over a shorter trip, and everybody was saying, "Oh, once he steps up in trip, then he stepped up in trip, and he still didn't really do it." So would be slightly worried from that perspective. But at the same time, in the context of this race, it's not easy to knock his chase form at the same time.
No, and I thought there was a good chance he'd be a grade 1 horse over fences at the start of the season. And I suppose just probably looking at the quality that we looked to have had at the start of the year in the 3-mile division, maybe I said it's probably more likely he probably would end up in the national hunt chase. But these owners put a lot of money into the game as well, so it'd be nice to see them get a right good horse. So hopefully if he did win this, he'd improve again. And maybe he could be a national horse down the line or something. I'd imagine he's probably wouldn't be sort of a Gold Cup one, but maybe he might be a national horse down the line.
Yeah. And to be fair, when you're looking at Embassy Gardens, is the one horse there who you'd be thinking out of the whole lot of them could go on to bigger and better things, really. In greater company possibly. That's how I'd see it anyway. But look, I think that wraps it up. I think we've covered both races fairly comprehensively there, and probably gone on a bit longer than what we would have hoped, because usually we keep these short and to the point. But that's all from today, lads. We'll see you again tomorrow with possibly the Mayor's Chase, Killian, is it?
Yeah, Mayor's Hurdle, I'd say, or Mayor's
the Mayor's Hurdle first.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, lads.
Thanks.
It's Honeysuckle and right